Imagine unlocking a real surge in your online growth just by focusing on what, truly drives results.
Yeah.
That's what we're diving into today. And this isn't just another chat. It's really a focused exploration. To give you those essential insights you need for online success, we've kind of distilled key strategies from different experiences
Right.
to bring you actionable knowledge fast.
Get right to the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our goal for this deep dive is pretty clear. Equip you with practical stuff you can use right away.
Yeah, navigate the complexities of building online in 2025.
Right. By the end, you should have a much clearer picture of what really fuels success so you can, concentrate your efforts where they actually count.
Let's get right into it then. One of the biggest moments I've seen, looking back at maybe a 4-year journey, is the huge impact of strategically investing in guidance from people who've, well, already gotten the results you want.
Oh, absolutely. That realization about coaching,
Yeah.
it's a game changer.
It really is a turning point.
It's so true. I mean, think about just passively consuming endless free stuff versus actively learning from someone who's actually walked that path.
Big difference.
The acceleration you can get by investing in that direct expertise, it's potentially massive compared to, say, traditional education or just hoping passive investments work out.
We're talking maybe 10x to even 100x return potential, especially when you're just starting out.
Definitely.
And it's funny how often we see loss aversion get in the way.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
People get so hung up on the upfront cost of, say, a coaching program that they totally miss the much bigger potential gains down the line, or even just avoiding costly mistakes because you have a proven map.
It's like worrying about the price of the map so much you never actually start the trip. Right?
Exactly that. You never leave.
But it's also crucial, isn't it, that just paying isn't the magic bullet.
Not at all. The real benefit comes when you're an active learner.
Right. The folks I've seen really succeed. They showed up prepared. They were fully engaged. They diligently applied what they learned.
It wasn't passive listening.
No, it was active participation. That's what maximizes the investment. Makes you think, where could some targeted expert advice give you the biggest boost right now?
Good question.
Now, while we're talking smart investments, it's just as vital to spot, well, the misleading stuff, right? Those unrealistic ideas about online success.
Absolutely. The online world can definitely paint a picture that's not quite reality. I've noticed some recurring red flags, let's call them, that just clash with the actual experience of building online income.
Let's hear them. Like a guide to spotting pitfalls for 2025.
Exactly. Consider this your guide.
It's striking how these red flags often go completely against that glamorous image. Like anyone promising easy money, little effort.
Big red flag, immediate skepticism needed there.
Because the reality I've seen is, well, it's not easy. It takes serious effort.
You have to work really hard.
And there's often friction at every single step.
Every step. And forget those overnight riches stories.
Oh, please.
The consistent message is, it takes time. Often we're looking at maybe 3 to 4 years of solid effort
Right.
before seeing real traction. And even then, the initial income might be more modest than Instagram wants you to believe.
Totally. Managing expectations is just so key. Another one, the idea you can have perfect work-life balance right from the start.
That's a tricky one. The early phases often demand this intense focus, maybe even what feels like an unhealthy obsession.
Right, leading to some imbalance.
Exactly. Balance often comes later, after you've built some momentum.
Makes sense.
And if anyone suggests your first try is likely to be this huge success or warning sign, reality is often the opposite. What you start with, probably not what ends up working.
Right, it takes iteration.
Usually multiple attempts, experiments, to find your footing. How many tries are you really ready for?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Also, be wary if they downplay the need for consistent long-term effort.
Yeah, the grind.
It's not a quick win. It's a long game. It's long-term consistency. Just, keep grinding for years until it works out.
And watch out for those things that just push watching and learning, but don't push doing.
Oh, the passive consumption trap. So easy to fall into.
Feels like progress, doesn't it? But it's not.
Not really. What you actually need is a bias to action, a willingness to push through that friction.
Exactly. And finally, be super cautious if anyone tells you to wait. Wait for the perfect time.
Because
The advice is overwhelming. Timing will never, ever, ever feel right.
never. Best time is usually right now.
Right now. But let's clarify, investing in legit education, coaching, where the focus is on applying it. That's not a red flag.
Yeah, that's strategic when done right.
So we flag the pitfalls. How do you actually navigate the difficulties? Because
Yeah, they will. And I think one of the most important things is just to expect and accept that it will be difficult.
normalize the friction.
Exactly. Building anything worthwhile online involves friction at every single step. Seeing that as normal for high outcomes, that helps a lot.
Absolutely. And understanding that success often comes after, well, what feel like failures.
Mm-hmm. It's a learning process.
I've seen so many examples, people trying multiple things that just didn't work before finding the right fit. Don't pressure yourself for that first swing to be a home run.
It's really about reframing, isn't it? Failure is feedback, not a stop sign.
Totally.
Then prioritize that long-term consistency. Think momentum over months, years, not just days.
Yeah, that compounding effect.
It really adds up.
Consistency is king. And cultivate that bias towards action. Don't get stuck planning forever.
Analysis paralysis.
Right. Sometimes just starting, even imperfectly, is the most critical move.
Yeah,
What's one small, imperfect action you could take today?
good prompt. And be ready to work through the friction. Setting up a site, creating content. There will be challenges.
See them through.
See things through to completion. And ditch the excuse that the timing isn't right.
Procrastination in disguise.
Usually, yeah. Perfect moment. Probably never coming. Just gotta start now.
Right.
And thinking bigger picture, it's about taking ownership. Develop that internal locus of control.
Believing you drive the results.
Yes. Believing your success comes from your efforts, not luck or circumstances.
Right.
Don't look for excuses if someone else did it.
You probably can too, or something similar.
Exactly. That potential is there.
And when you hit those plateaus, which you will,
Yep.
consider strategically investing in knowledge, that learning piece. It's a major unlock for so many.
Huge unlock, learning from those ahead of you. Overcome that hesitation, that loss aversion about investing in growth. It can pay off massively.
Makes you wonder, yeah, where could a targeted investment in your knowledge create the biggest leap right now?
And finally, be mindful of your content consumption. What you watch, read, it shapes your focus.
Your content diet.
Exactly. Make sure it actually supports your goals. And if you see a gap between what you say you want and what you're doing, you got to adjust. Either change the actions or change the goal.
Or maybe accept that sometimes, yeah, getting extraordinary results takes,
Yeah.
well, maybe that unhealthy obsession, especially at the start.
It often does.
Okay,
Yeah.
so mindset, navigating challenges, check. Now the practical steps. How do you actually start building that authority online?
Right. The how-to. First step. Just start. Take action.
Imperfect action.
Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. Don't wait for perfect.
Set something out there. And then,
Long-term consistency. Building a real online presence takes sustained effort. Regular content, regular engagement.
it's amazing how that builds up, even if it feels slow initially. Maybe think about multiple relevant platforms, blog, email, social.
A multifaceted approach can work, broaden your reach, but don't spread yourself too thin too early. Focus your energy, focus your learning on what really moves the needle for your main goals.
Intense focus.
Intense focus. Dedicate specific time and make sure what you're learning directly helps you get where you want to go.
Good question to ask. Is my current learning, my content diet, actually helping my online goals?
Exactly. And leverage what you already know. Your expertise, what value can you offer? That's your foundation.
Then maybe once you get some traction, strategically invest in learning specific high-impact skills.
Yes. Courses, coaching from people who've done it. That targeted learning can seriously accelerate things.
But again, be an active student.
Right. Absolutely. Apply it diligently to get that return. And remember, building authority, not always smooth sailing.
Expect challenges.
Work through the friction. Don't let the time isn't right stop you. And, try to find some enjoyment in it.
That helps with sustainability, makes the long haul easier. Hey, if you're finding this valuable, maybe share it with someone else who could use it.
Good idea. Roadblocks. Let's talk common obstacles. What stops people from scaling beyond those initial stages?
Good one.
A big one I've seen. Lack of that intense focus, maybe that unhealthy obsession with the goal, especially if you're aiming high financially.
It demands real dedication.
Often goes beyond just casual interest.
It's fascinating, that level of commitment needed for truly exceptional results. Also, trying to have perfect balance too early.
That can hinder scaling sometimes. Balance often comes later after you've built momentum.
And analysis paralysis. We mentioned it before, but it's huge. Getting stuck planning, never consistently acting.
Just gotta start. Remember, timing is never right.
Where might you be overanalyzing instead of doing? Worth thinking about.
And giving up. Giving up after setbacks or when it gets tough. Very common mistake.
It's a journey, right? Ups and downs are expected.
Exactly. Not strategically investing in your knowledge, your skills, that can also cap your growth.
Got to overcome that fear of investing in yourself. See education as a high ROI activity.
It's about continuous learning, overcoming those limiting beliefs, and of course, lack of long-term consistency will absolutely stall scaling.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Definitely. And finally, just passively consuming content won't cut it for scaling. Be an active, action-oriented student.
And make sure the content you are consuming directly supports your business growth goals now.
Yep, your diet needs to evolve.
So how do you break through those plateaus? How do you really accelerate growth? Strategic reinvestment sounds key.
Exactly. Reinvesting profits strategically can be a major catalyst, a real greatest unlock. It can supercharge progress.
You mentioned seeing examples where people hit profitability right after investing in coaching.
Immediately. It's interesting. Think about the potential ROI compared to, say, traditional investments, especially early on in your business.
Right. Where should those learning investments focus?
Think key areas like sales, conversion, fulfillment, and really mastering the specific platforms you rely on.
But again, that investment needs action to pay off. Right?
Always. Financial investment plus consistent action. You have to be an active learner.
Let's drill down into specific strategies for scaling. Hey, if this is resonating, sharing it could really help someone else trying to grow.
That unhealthy obsession might need to stick around or even intensify during that growth phase.
And shift your content diet again.
Right.
Focus even more on business growth stuff.
It's fascinating how your info intake needs to adapt. Keep investing in specific knowledge from experts. Think of it like downloading their brain into your strategy.
Focus on the core business functions, sales, conversion, fulfillment.
Yes, and be an active, engaged student of any paid resources. Ask yourself, are you actively seeking out learning on those core functions?
And as you scale, maybe start thinking systems, resources, team.
That's a big shift. Moving beyond just your own effort. Building systems, leveraging resources, maybe a team eventually.
But underpinning it all.
Long-term consistency, the thing that got you there keeps you going.
Got it. Now, tools and resources. What's essential for this journey?
Starting out, focus on the basics. Platforms to build presence. Course platforms maybe. A blog, email list, video channel.
Don't need fancy gear to start.
No, prioritize action with what you have. Consistency is vital. There are even tools, apps that can help with that.
Free learning.
Immerse yourself in relevant stuff. Good podcasts on online business, YouTube videos, foundational books.
And when ready to invest.
Targeted programs, coaching, maybe audience growth, sales optimization. Key is action with resources available at each stage.
Makes sense. Now, a common dilemma for beginners. Focus on one thing or diversify early.
The consensus seems to lean towards intense focus initially.
Spreading thin slows you down.
I've seen examples where attention was too divided, progress stalled everywhere.
Versus others who used multiple related platforms around their core thing.
Exactly. There's a difference between expanding presence in your niche versus jumping into totally different things.
So concentrate on a core area. Build consistently on one or a few connected platforms.
That's the recommendation. Think of early ventures as learning and consistency.
Paramount.
Absolutely. Avoid diversifying into unrelated stuff too early. Wait till your foundation is solid.
Okay, so how do you cultivate that intense focus needed?
Starts with that strong drive, maybe that unhealthy obsession, and knowing the sacrifices potentially involved.
Dedicate real focused time each week.
Yes, and align your content consumption tightly with goals. Your environment, your info diet, they either help or hinder focus.
Maintain that bias to action. Don't overthink.
Prioritize consistent effort over time. Learn by doing. Embrace mistakes. And, find some enjoyment.
Intrinsic motivation for the long haul.
Yeah. And when possible, strategically invest in knowledge and skills.
What if you're starting from zero? No money to invest. First steps.
Action bias is still number one. Identify knowledge or skills you already have.
Okay.
Choose free or super low-cost platforms. Free blog, free email tier, smartphone for video.
It really is accessible now.
Totally. Crucial thing. Create and publish that first piece immediately. Don't wait for perfect.
Just get it out there.
Commit to consistent creation. View setbacks as learning.
Let's use that example. Someone starting broke, building significant income. What did they do?
Identified existing knowledge, chose low-cost platforms, and crucially, took immediate action.
Created and published fast.
Didn't wait for perfect. Those first actions, even with tiny initial results, are about breaking inertia, building momentum.
Okay, looking at 2025, are there online business models beginners should just avoid?
Interestingly, the guidance isn't really about avoiding specific models due to competition.
Oh,
The theme is more that success in any online venture takes significant time and effort, period.
so success is possible even in crowded fields.
Absolutely. People succeed in content creation, coaching, all sorts of competitive areas. The keys are accepting difficulty is normal,
Expecting setbacks.
long-term consistency, mindset, likely sacrifice. If this is hitting home, maybe share it with others building online too.
Good point. So the challenge isn't finding an empty market, but committing to the work.
Exactly. Committing to hard work, consistency, perseverance, whatever you choose.
What about newer tech?
Yeah.
AI, Web3.
Core principles don't change. Content creation, expertise sharing, still strong starting points.
But you could learn AI, maybe make content about it.
For sure. Learn it deeply, create content, offer services or education as you grow. But the foundation.
Action, grit, consistency, working through friction, willingness to put in the effort.
Remains paramount, regardless of the tech or niche.
So most viable low-cost models for 2025.
Content creation and expertise-based online education keep coming up.
Like starting a blog, newsletter, channel, intro courses.
Exactly. Based on what you know now, freelancing can bring income, but maybe not the scalable wealth path.
And success depends heavily on
Mindset and approach. Consistent action, perseverance, sacrifice, continuous learning, and maybe finding those hobbies that double dip for sustainability.
what about finding underutilized niches? Is that the secret?
The emphasis isn't really on secret niches. It's more on sharing expertise via online education, consistent content creation. Those are highlighted as profitable.
Hobbies that double dip, again, for finding sustainable things.
Yeah, aligning interests with income potential. But the real opportunity seems to be in your approach.
Bias to action, grit, focus, strategic learning.
That's where the leverage is.
So ultimately, what drives online financial success in 2025?
Consistent action and grit. Sharing expertise online, creating valuable content proven models.
Hobbies that double dip for sustainability.
Yep. But the biggest factor, your internal drive. Taking action, resilience, working through difficulty, that intense focus, consistent effort.
And investing in your knowledge.
Don't underestimate that.
Let's revisit that success story example. Started limited, no business background, initial attempts didn't pay off immediately. Key turning points.
Bias towards action just starting. Incredible persistence kept creating for a long time. Handling difficulty.
Self-belief.
Huge internal locus of control. Willingness to pay the price, make sacrifices, and then, crucially, strategic investment in learning and owning those learning outcomes.
And now seeing significant success, believing it's possible to build substantially from little.
Yeah, powerful example.
So is it the brilliant idea or something else that's more critical early on?
Evidence points strongly to grit and execution being way more important than the initial perfect idea.
Early attempts might be kind of bad.
Often are. You'll likely face setbacks. What matters is action over analysis. Consistency. Grinding.
Difficulty is normal. Waiting for the right time is?
Procrastination. Extraordinary outcomes often demand extraordinary effort, sacrifice. Persistent action and resilience win, even from imperfect starts.
Common pitfalls for aspiring online entrepreneurs. How to avoid them.
Lack of self-belief, blaming external factors, big one.
Analysis paralysis instead of action.
Believing the first try has to be huge. Passive consumption, no implementation, dead end.
Quitting when it gets hard.
Waiting for the perfect time. Unwillingness to sacrifice, misaligned content diet distracting you.
Hesitating to invest in knowledge.
Or investing but not actively applying it. Yeah, the success stories often show how people navigated these exact things.
Finally, let's tackle common misconceptions head on. What myths hold people back?
Myth 1, it's easy and quick to get rich online.
Reality. Takes time, effort, dedication.
Myth 2, your first idea must be groundbreaking, guaranteed success.
Reality. Early attempts are learning. It's interesting how those expectations lead to giving up.
Myth 3, need to wait for the perfect time.
Reality. Now is almost always best.
Myth 4, perfect work-life balance from day one.
Reality. Often needs focused effort, sacrifice first.
Myth 5, passive content consumption is enough.
Reality. Active implementation is key.
Myth 6, difficulty means you're failing or wrong.
Reality. It's a normal part of growth.
Myth 7, investing in education is a scam.
Reality. Strategic investment with application is powerful. So for someone feeling overwhelmed, stuck, What's the absolute fundamental mindset shift?
It really comes down to developing self-belief and that internal locus of control, genuinely believing your actions drive your success.
Without that core belief.
It's easy to make excuses, stay stuck. It's amazing how that belief in your own agency underpins everything else: action, perseverance.
So cultivating that belief is step zero, almost. Before strategies, before sacrifices.
Often, yes. It's foundational. Hey, if this deep dive resonated, maybe share it. You might help someone else make that crucial shift too.
Great point.
So just to quickly recap, we've touched on expert guidance, spotting red flags, strategies for difficulty, building authority, obstacles, reinvestment, scaling tactics, resources, focus versus diversifying, cultivating obsessions, starting from zero, bootstrapping examples, debunking myths, text role, viable models, finding opportunities, action and grit, success stories, grit over genius, pitfalls, misconceptions, and that crucial locus of control.
Phew, that was a lot. So your next step, pick one or two key things from today and take immediate action.
Just one small step.
Reflect on your own sense of control, your willingness to embrace challenges, and maybe ask yourself, what's one unrealistic expectation about online success you're ready to let go of now?
Good question.
The opportunities in 2025 are definitely there for those ready to put in the work and learn strategically. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.